Okay. All right. So welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry. I apologize for that, for the sound issue. You see, this is the reason why I told you, fam, I'm working on getting new equipment, because you all deserve better. I can't have a stream and then you guys can't hear me, and I'm trying to fix the issues. It doesn't speak well of me, but that's not intentional. Like I said, I've gotten to the point now where I'm trying to get the money out and buy the items, the equipment. So very soon, when I do a live stream, you're going to see crispy clear, not you will see crispy clear video. You hear me loud and clear, everything will be top notch, 100/100. So thank you all so much. Welcome. I've said that over a thousand times now. I'm always so excited to hang out with you on Sunday evenings like this. And today you can see the topic already. It's very interesting, and that's because a lot of things have obviously happened in the YouTube community. And just the thing is, YouTube is such a large but small community. When you're away just for a split second, a lot of things happen, and sometimes you tend to miss out and have to play catch up. I remember during my last live stream last Sunday, some of you, were making reference to something that happened before, and some of you were of the opinion that we should discuss that and all. Some people said no, there's no need. But what I did was I went on, I looked up what you guys talked about, and honestly, I just felt like it's important for us to have this conversation, not necessarily a response to the person in question, but just to have this conversation. Devon Griffin asks, are you a mom? No, I'm not a mom. I'm not a mom yet. What's going on here? Vincent Falui, what's going on here? We are discussing, like, is Africa up for grabs? I'm just trying to give you the background to the conversation we are going to have this evening. So welcome. We're just starting, so you are right on time. Okay. So like I was saying, I felt like there's a need for us to have this conversation, because just watching that video and listening to what was said in that video, I sensed I sensed some misinformation. I sensed some things I just felt like we need to address and get right here. That's why the title of this stream today is Africa Up for Grabs, because I just felt like there was a wrong notion already, and if that notion is allowed to continue, it might result in a situation of dead on arrival, kind of thing. So first of all, I want to say that this YouTube community has opened my eyes personally to a lot of things that before now I didn't know, especially as they involve the Black people across the world, not just in Africa, but Black people across the world. There are a lot of things I've learned since I joined this YouTube community, and I've been making videos and having all these conversations with you guys. I've learned a lot from you as well, and just from following other creators and all. So the narrative or the effort basically has been the one of trying to unite us as a people, the Black people. It's just about uniting us and getting us to work in synergy, to change the narrative about our continent, Africa, and to just get this continent up there, to a position where we all Black people can be proud of. So it's something that I appreciate and I love doing. I do it here on my channel. I contribute my part because I feel like that it's an important discussion. It's an important job that every Black person in media has a responsibility to deliver on, and to deliver excellently as much as they can. So when some sort of information is being sent out there, and the information seem like it might rubbish the effort that all of us are putting in, is just so unfortunate, and it's important for us to have conversation. So first off, let's acknowledge here that Africa is not perfect. That's the basic. Everybody knows that. The world is not perfect either. No place on this planet Earth is perfect. None that I know of. You know, um, uh, so many things happen across the world in different places, different cultures, different beliefs, different economies, different political ideologies, and all of that. And all of this play together to influence the way, you know, the people live and do things as a people. So it's important that we get to a point where we understand people's differences, and as much as possible try to respect people's differences, and learn to live with people in a, from a place of tolerance and mutual respect. That I try to do, especially when I make my videos. I try to do, and one thing I know I do also on my channel is that I try to present situations as they are. When I talk about Nigeria, for instance, I don't try to sugarcoat anything. I put it out there as it is. Nigeria is my country. And if there's anything I want to see happen in Nigeria more than any other thing is, I want to see Nigeria prosper. I want to see Nigeria respected across the world. I want to see Nigeria, developed. Who says I wouldn't want to see Nigeria become a superpower, a world power tomorrow? It's a dream and a pride of almost all Nigerians. Take a census, you hear that everybody wants their country to do better and to be better. But we all know the challenges that we are grappling with, challenges of poor leadership, which has plagued Africa as an entire continent for God knows how long now. But that's what we want to see. We want to see change, and because of this poor leadership, a lot of things have happened negatively, that's resulted in sometimes poor quality of life that Africans live, not just in one country but across the continent. Is the consequence of poor governance, corruption, mismanagement of national resources, and all of that. So, but we can unite and make things change. Africans at home, Africans in diaspora. That's the core we have all been putting out there as content creators on YouTube. Come back home, let's work together to change a story about our continent, Africa. Because regardless of where you are, as a Black person, if Africa does not have the respect that Africa deserves, nobody is going to respect you. We all have established that. We all have agreed based on that. But when we Africans, it seems like even amongst ourselves Africans, we are not on the same page in terms of speaking in unity and trying to push a united front, then it becomes almost bleak to see anything happen tangibly, to achieve that change that we want to see, happen on the continent. Grace, we all soon won't have no choice because they are going to kick us all out. Who will kick you out? Let me know. Africa for Africans. As an Irishman, I know where I belong. Yeah, so that's the thing. Africa belongs to all Africans. Yeah. But the thing is, we have to work in unity, we have to work in synergy to achieve unity, to achieve prosperity and development as Africans. So when we are coming with this mindset that, oh, something is not right, but you see, I'm like the savior. I have to come here. If I don't do this, then this is how messy, this is how wasted, and what that sort of air of superiority, that sort of mindset that you think you have above continental Africans, it's not going to work. So I'm getting to the point where I told you I'm going to be brutally honest with you. We've been saying come back home. Personally, I've done live streams several times saying African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, people of African descent all across the world, come back to Africa, settle down in Africa. Africa is your home. Undoubtedly, it is your home. Come back and settle here. But a lot of us can only put out this call and say this because we understand the essence. We understand that as a people, it's important for us to come back together and unite and push our narrative forward. Not all Africans, let's start from there. Not all Africans understand this narrative that Afro-Caribbeans, African Americans, or everybody of African descent should come back to Africa and settle here. Not all of these people understand that. That's the basic truth that we all need to get today, my people. Not all continental Africans understand that there's a need for our people of African descent to come back to Africa and settle here. But for those of us who understand the importance, we keep putting this call out there. Now, take it, just ask yourself, why is it that African governments are not calling on African diasporans to return back and settle in Africa, invest in Africa? Just ask yourself that question. Someone is saying the president of Ghana is inviting all Africans back to Africa. That's one out of like 50, I think 54 presidents of the African countries that we have. So ask yourself, why are they not calling on all African descent to come back, African descendants to come back home? The African Union is not doing that either. But those of us that understand, we understand that it's important. And I appreciate that our people of African descent all across the world are taking steps to come back home to Africa. I mean, a lot of people have repatriated and settled in Africa. They are doing business, a lot of things, and they are happy. We see the videos all over YouTube of how I left America and came back to Ghana. I left America and came back to Uganda, to Tanzania, some are in Nigeria, and all of that. We are happy. We are happy that you are coming back home to, settle in the land of your ancestors, do business, mingle with people, be happy, That's the essence. We are happy because we feel like the resources and the wealth of experience and knowledge, skills and expertise that you are going to bring back is going to add to the skill set and the resources we have on the continent. And talking about this now, I just brought another idea to my mind that we are going to talk about in my next live stream next Sunday. So you all have to understand that we need to work as one united people. When you are planning on coming back to Africa, have it in mind that you are coming back home to mingle with your people, to establish relationships, to do business, to set up companies, whatever it is you want to come back and do in Africa. And we always say this, don't come back to Africa with the mindset of looking for a job because there are no jobs. You have to come with the mindset that I'm coming to set up a business, I'm coming to make a change. But in all of that, you need to understand fundamentally that you need to come back with the mindset that you're coming back home to work as an ally with the people on the ground, with the continental Africans. Because those of you who are in the diaspora, I often hear you people say that, when continental Africans leave Africa and go to, say, the US, there's usually this friction between continental Africans who are living in the diaspora and Africans who were born in, say, America or the United Kingdom and all of that. You guys say there's usually this friction. And that's the sort of thing I want to put out there today. And I'm saying this not from a place of hate or anything. I'm just trying to be honest with you and put things out, because from the videos I've seen on Instagram so far, it's as though people have heard stories about coming back home, and it has always been like this perfect place that once you come back, life is all about a jolly smooth ride and all of that. So when you come with that mindset and you don't see it as perfectly as it has been presented, you begin to feel like, oh, maybe you were lied to, and then maybe you begin to come from this place of, I need to set these things right, and I need to I need to uh I need to fix things right. I have work to do. Yes, it's important to come back and do some work, but don't come back with the mindset that, okay, I've come back here. It's not like I didn't see it as I was told or meant to believe, so I have work to do. It's important for us to work together as allies. When you come with that mindset that, okay, because I'm coming from maybe America or the United Kingdom or from the Caribbean, so I have this air of superiority over the people I'm going to meet on ground, then there's going to be friction. And that's what, like, has almost played out based on the video you guys talked about that I watched. That's almost like the kind of thing that has happened. So when you come back, understand that, one, things are not perfect in Africa. So as I'm coming back to Africa, what am I going to do, to make a difference? What am I going to do from a place of love, from a place of mutual respect, from a place of building with my family, so that we can make a difference? I always say this, like, I give an example of myself. I live in Lagos. Someone is asking me, what country is Virtue Grace in? I'm in Nigeria. I live in Nigeria. So I've not been home for almost a year now. Then I travel. Blacks in America want to live in America. They have the money and free will to go, but they stay. Yeah. So I now decide to go back home to say my state. And then when I go back to my state, I see things, maybe in my father's house, I see things not done properly. Then instead of me, yes, I'll feel bad that things are not done, or things were not done properly when I was away. But instead of going out there to expose my family, talk down on my family and all of that, I think my focus would be on, how can I get this better? How can I make this work out and be the model of the kind of home I want to see? That's the mindset I'm going to have. Not coming with the mindset that I see things not done right in my father's house, then I'm like, you guys are just so useless. Why did you abandon this? You abandoned this property, you didn't pay attention to it, so now it has degenerated. I have to spend money to fix it. I gave you this to keep. You didn't even pay attention to it. Look at how I'll be mad, I'll feel bad. But in all of this, I need to express myself out with a sense of mutual respect for you, not talking from a place of, like, I'm above you. If you come with that mindset, you are going to have problems with continental Africans, my people. And be honest with you, because I can say to a large extent, or a reasonable extent, that being an African, born and brought up in Africa, I have also mingled with diaspora Africans on YouTube. I've heard the narratives. I've heard firsthand, experiences of descendants of African who were born away from Africa. So I get some sense, of both sides of the narrative. So me now, I'm just bringing you my unbiased, perspective and opinion on this whole issue. Don't come back, my people, with a mindset that Africa is this helpless place. Africans are these helpless people who are clueless, who have who do not understand how to manage themselves. And also, come back, we have work to do. Let's fix this thing. Let's put them in their place. Let's get them to understand how they should do things. If you come like that, trust me, you are going to have issues. You are going to run into some real issues with continental Africans. So it's important that you understand this narrative. That's why I'm doing this stream today. Not all continental Africans understand that diaspora Africans have to come back home to invest. someone once said it on one of my previous stream that he visited, he was in Ghana during the year of return, but it wasn't really that, anything special. I don't want to mention the person's name, but it was on my stream that the person said that it was like, um he I think he even got swindled of some money that he gave somebody and all of that. So sometimes those are the kind of experiences we have. I'm not discrediting anybody's experience. We have different experiences, and everybody's experience is valid, and you have the right to talk about your experience. you know when you come to a place, you go to a place, you have your own experiences, and you have the right to express your experiences based on what the people did to you, or based on your own observations. But as far as the people's culture is concerned, as far as the people's beliefs are concerned, as far as the people's way of life is concerned, you have to tread with caution. you know Africans, for instance, especially those who are in the rural areas, are not as educated as the ones you meet in the urban centers, who have acquired some, education, and are able to mingle with you in that urban space, and engage in terms of businesses or some sort of skilled employment and all of that. When you go to the rural areas, you're going to find Africans who are not educated. And the fact that they did not acquire Western education does not make them any less. All they know is that they perceive the world from, but we should want to come home and join together and rebuild. Why not? And we need to be respectful. Exactly. I think I should just pause and read some comments, because it seems like people have been um drop me some chat in the chat room before I go on. It's time for Black people to stop building things in Africa. Stop building things. What what you waiting for, guys? What's the hold up? Did you mean start building or stop building? Let me understand. Most Blacks in the US greatly depend on social welfare and affirmative action. I see that. It's time for Black. Okay. um we are not asking you to come and do anything. Just the fact that you want to come back is good enough. Exactly. You can come back. Come back if you feel like, I need to go back home to Africa and settle down. I watched a video where someone said they came back to Africa and they are more at peace in Africa. That is good. That's perfect. You don't even, if you come here and you are, you are self-sufficient, you are able to sustain yourself, and be responsible for yourself and the family you are going to bring. That is perfect. Nobody is turning you back. Someone says the diaspora needs Africa needs the diaspora. Exactly. We need each other. um Nigeria really is many nations that would be best separated but not divided. The marketing needs to be different, and Africa has to make it more accommodating. We already have it hard. Thank you. This candid chat is extremely necessary. You're welcome. But we should want to come together. Okay, I've read that. Africa is not ready for a large mass of Black descendants of the transatlantic slave trade returning to the continent to live. Okay, so like I was saying, Editon, I think I agree with you. Not all that, and I guess that's why not all African presidents are calling on descendants of Africa to return back home. But for those who understand, like the president of Ghana, who has been at the fore of opening the doors for diaspora Africans to return back home. I am Tiff. Someone is asking, Grace Ayibo Edo. I am Tiff from Benue State. Yeah, so like I was saying, as when you come back to Africa, you need to understand that the people you meet in the rural areas, they might not be as educated as the people you meet in the urban centers. And the fact that they did not acquire Western education does not mean that they are not, functioning effectively within their own communities. You'll be surprised that those people who you might see as illiterate, who do not speak English, who do not understand English language, are influential people as far as their communities are concerned. And these are people who are, decision makers, who can make things happen. So when you come back, and it's also important for us to understand that Africans have their own languages. Okay, send me the link, please. Okay, Faith, I'm going to copy. I forgot to put the link there. I'm going to drop the link in the chat room. Anyone who wants to come up and join the conversation, just click on it and click. Yeah, I've dropped the link. So those who do not understand English have their own languages that they speak, and with those languages, they're able to interact with their communities, and they're able to interact with the world, and live. They perceive the world from their own worldview, and that's how they've been living. That's how we've been living. Some of us were fortunate enough to be born in times when Western education, had gained wide acceptance in Africa. Our ancestors acquired Western education. They sent us to school to also acquire Western education. So I'm sitting here today. I'm not saying Western education is bad. By no means am I saying that. It is good. And by all means, all Africans, as much as we can, should acquire Western education, because that's the only way we'll be able to interact with the Western world and be able to assert ourselves as well. Because someone once said, in order for you to effectively disarm the enemy, it's important for you to understand the ways of your enemies. So by all means, all Africans should acquire Western education. That's the advocacy. So what I was saying in essence is, when you come here and find people who, sorry, I'm going to mute you guys. Thank you for coming on the show. But let me just quickly finish up on the points I'm making. Then I'll give you guys the opportunity to also contribute your own perspectives to the conversation. Welcome. Thank you for coming. So these people, that's the much they understand. And you'll be surprised that with the lack of Western education that they did not acquire, they are still able to live. But the truth is, in this 21st century, Western education is indispensable. That's the fact. If you go to the rural areas, for instance, you find people, especially young people who are not educated, who are already at the place of disadvantage. So whatever information people bring to them, some people come with, the sense of, with the understanding that people are ignorant, people did not acquire Western education, so they're already in a vulnerable position. People take advantage of that and dump all sort of information, all sort of products, all sort of services on them, because they are unsuspecting and they cannot question it. Case in point, the issue of say contraceptives. You come to Africa, you go to the rural areas, NGOs come into these communities and they work on the ground, they deliver contraceptives and all of that to these people in rural communities, especially young girls and women of reproductive age. But the information that is usually put across there is the fact that this is for your own good. Emphasis are not really laid on the fact that these things, contraceptives for instance, have side effects. So these people take it, and at the end of the day, the side effects definitely start to manifest. So as an individual, as an African in the diaspora, or as a continental African, when you see this gap, when you see these problems, as an African who loves Africa, and who wants the interest of Africa, the best interest of Africa, it is your responsibility, if you can do anything about it, to step in and do something. Personally, I work with an NGO, and my NGO is funded by a Nigerian. It was founded and is funded by a Nigerian. And what we do is we serve survivors of rape and sexual assault. That's our focus. We provide medical services to them, we provide psychosocial services to them, we provide referral for legal services to them, and all of that. I've worked with other NGOs that have done different things like HIV prevention and treatment. We've done providing services for orphans and vulnerable children, all sort of different things. That's because we see that there is a gap, there is a need, and we need to stand up as Africans to address our issues. We don't have to sit and wait. So if, as an African descendant, you decide to repatriate back to Africa and you come and see these problems on the ground, what are you going to do? Or what is the prompt? what are you going to do to address this situation if you have the skills or the resources to make a change, rather than, sorry there, I mean, nobody would want to remain in a place of perpetual disadvantage. Everybody wants it better. And let me tell you something, if they see you come there, you look like us, it's even better. It will be even more acceptable. So what I'm saying in essence is that when you come back with a mindset that you are going to work with your African people as allies. You are going to make a change. If you are not going to make a change, when you see something going wrong, the least you can do is just keep quiet. Like, just, if you are going to talk about it, then talk about it in a place, from a place of trying to proffer a solution, not just, coming to sit here and talk about the people as though you are trying to mock them or make it look like they are like they're actually happy that they're in that place of disadvantage, which is by no means their fault in any way. So basically, that's what I wanted to say. But because I have people who have joined me on the show, I'm going to let them also contribute their own perspectives. Brother Nice, you came up first, so I will let you go. Brother Nice, welcome. If you can hear me, Brother Nice.
Hello, Sister Grace. Good evening, everyone.
Please speak up. I can't hear you. Speak up.
Yeah. Are you hearing me? Are you
Speak
hearing me?
up.
Okay. Let me see. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Are you hearing me? If you are hearing me, just give me a sign. If you guys are hearing me. Okay. So, what I just want to contribute is that are you still
Continue. I
hearing me?
can hear you. Speak. Speak. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So what I'm trying to say, okay, what I'm trying to say is that, like all these, as a African American. So if there's a thing that I experienced about them, that I need to choose my words carefully, so that I just want to be try as possible to be polite in the word that I use. I have to choose my words. So African Americans, some of them, they see Africa as a continent that when they are repatriating, they are coming to help Africa or something. They have that mentality of that they are coming to help them. It's not that they are coming to live with their fellow blacks or brothers and sisters. They see Africa as a place that they are going to help the people that lives there. Understand? So they see them they see them as they are more superior the Africans that lives in African continent. So those kind of attitude, when I see it in them, that those attitude irritate me a lot. You understand? Because I have a lot of friends that is African Americans. Yeah, it's not all of them. Some of them are very polite, but some of them are very rude. You understand? If you said you are repatriating to Africa, you want to live with your people, you have to live the mentality of the country that you live. Those your slave masters, to live with them, you have to live those mentality in that Western world, in that America where you live. When you are coming to Africa, you don't have to come with that same mentality to live with your brothers and sisters in Africa. But for you coming with that same mentality, disrespecting people in African continent, then speaking word that is very rude to is very bad. You understand? I've experienced a lot from African Americans. They don't choose their words carefully, the way they speak to their fellow Africans. You know, when they want to relate to African person, they always say this dude. That word is very disrespectful. Like me, if I want to talk to them, African American, I always say my brothers, my sisters. You understand? That is the way I talk to them. But they want to talk, they say this dude. You know, like one brother that used to come to your show sometimes is an African American. He came the last time we spoke last. You know, I know the way that guy used to talk. That guy speak to people very rudely. There was a brother that was talking to him, even me, the same thing. He did the same thing to me. He was telling me to quiet, and he told the other brother as well to keep quiet. So those are the kind of mentality they have. They don't have respect for everybody. You understand? They believe people that's in the continent of Africa, they are more superior than them. So those kind of mentality, I see it in them and it irritates me a lot. You understand what I mean? So if they are coming to live with Africa, they should change their way of living and the way they speak to their fellow blacks. And when they are coming, they should not have it in mind that they are coming to help Africa to develop. Africa have gone to this stage, and we did it ourselves. You understand? So it's not them that have been slaves for decades that will come and say them we want to rely on them to develop Africa now. If they think that, it's just a big mistake. They have to take that mentality away from them that they are coming to help Africans from where Africa we don't need anybody's assistance. We are going to develop ourselves. You understand? So even if I saw Africa, the stage where Africa is today, they were shocked. They did not believe that Africa is beautiful the way they saw it now. They thought Africans live in trees. In back then in US, they used to back then in US they used to say Africa Buddhist crashers. That's the way they used to laugh. African American, they always call Africans Buddhist crashers. You understand? But today,
nice, where do you
they see through this social. I live in France, in Paris. Hello.
Yes, continue.
Hello. Hello. Are you still hearing me? Okay. Are you still hearing me? Are you still hearing me?
I can hear you. Continue.
Are you still hearing me?
Okay, what I need you to understand, let me just quickly clear this
Hello?
here. The fact is, the truth is, yes,
Hello?
some of these are black brothers and sisters, not all of them. So it's important that we don't generalize the conversation here, because when we generalize, then we lose out on the essence of the conversation. Not all, but
Hello?
some who are not really.
Hello?
Just hold on. For some who are not well informed about the continent, you know, they might
Hello?
come with the mindset that
Hello?
they might come with the mindset that, you know, we're coming back to come and solve. I mean, it's good to come back. Come with the mindset that you want to come help, you know, solve some of the problems that are on the continent, especially if you have the skills or the resources to do that. You know, it's important to have that mindset when you come. But with all of that, we have to understand the place of mutual respect, because as you come and live in Africa, you expect Africans, continental Africans, to also respect you. So respect, they say, is reciprocal. It has to go both ways, you know, in the way that you adapt to people's cultures, in the way that you address the people, in the way that you make references to the people's culture, is very, very important. Very, very important. But if you come already with that air of superiority over the people you are going to live amongst and, you know, interact with, do business with, trust me, my brothers and sisters, you are going to have problems. You are going to have problems. And that's me just being honest with you. You will have problems with continental Africans. So, but I understand it's not all people of African descent who, you know, who live outside of the continent that have this mindset. Just a few people who are misinformed about the continent and who might come with that misinformation or misinformed mindset are the people that might have this problem. So Michael McCarthy, let me have your contribution. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Michael.
Can you hear me?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, thank you, Virtue Grace. I've watched you for some weeks now, and I really appreciate the great content that you produce. And I've spent a fair bit of time in Africa. I for over 15 years, I worked as a photojournalist. So I covered some wars in Africa, in Sudan, in Eritrea, and Ethiopia.
Somewhat distorted. Your audio is somewhat distorted, so I can barely hear you.
Oh, is it? Oh, dear me. Yeah, this is all I've got is a tablet. Is it not working if I spoke to? Is it a little bit better now? Okay. Yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time in Africa covering wars as a photojournalist in Sudan, in Eritrea, and Ethiopia. So I have some understanding of the frustration of life in Africa, and I've spent time in Uganda as well. But then I gave up war photography and I moved to America, and I spent 10 years in America. So I'm familiar with the African diaspora in the United States as well.
Do you have two devices on?
No.
Okay. I think what I heard you say is that you've lived in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you joining me from?
Okay, it's not very clear.
Where are you joining me from?
It's not very clear. I'm not sure. From Ireland. I'm living in Ireland.
You live where?
In Ireland.
Ireland. Okay, Ireland. Okay, okay.
Yeah, if it's not very clear on Virtue Grace, it's not really worth us having a chat. I'm going to send you an email. I'll send you an email today.
Guys, I'm struggling to hear him. Like, I know he said he's from Ireland, but I don't know where the distortion is coming from.
I can hear you very clearly.
You. Okay, I can hear him, but I can barely make, string the meaning of what he's saying. I don't know why. It seems like there's a sort of distortion. Someone says, Virtue Grace, apparently you are the...
Okay, Virtue, I can hear you very clearly. We'll try and speak another time. I will send you an email now.
I think I can hear you now.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, my feeling is the whole kind of liberal sort of global agenda to force all peoples together just isn't working. So a multicultural, multi-religious, multiracial society is doomed to fail. And so I think we as people of the world must support genuine nationalism. And of course, nationalism is it's about ethnicity. So and of course within many, within different races there are many ethnicities. So we're suffering in Europe that all European nations currently are really beginning to collapse because it's just impossible to sort of hold them together and make them work, really. So the whole multicultural globalist experiment is falling apart. And so I think as nationalists, as people of peace, because I've spent a lot of time, a lot of my life in and out of wars in Africa and Eastern Europe and in Southeast Asia, it's very clear that all wars are rigged. And what's necessary for the war to be successful, or certainly successful in the eyes of I guess the central bank system, is what's required is a corrupt political class in every nation, because none of the political classes are pointing out that these wars are actually rigged from outside influences. And I think that would be the first thing, is to insist upon the people of the most with integrity and who are uncorruptible to be representative, to be our political class. I think is the first thing that all nations have to ensure, is that the best of their people are represented in the ruling class and in the political class. And so we have that, and that's a global problem. So we've allowed in all our nations for the worst of our people to be elevated to the commanding heights of our nation. But I see a lot of good things happening, and I think the president of Ghana has been saying some very good things lately.
Okay. Thank you, Michael, for your contribution. I'm going to also I have two other people in the chat room, in the waiting area. I've added Heavenly Beautiful. Heavenly Beautiful, you're welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome. Fine. Oh, she's gone off. Please click on the link again. I'm dropping it back. Okay, she's back.
Sorry, I clicked a button by accident. Ah, boy. Well, hi, family. I wanted to touch on some of the things you said. There's so much going on. I'm going to talk from a position of, well, I was born in New York City. I'm born and raised in New York City. New York City is a lot exactly like Lagos. And within the New York has its own culture, even though it's in the United States. It has its own culture. My parents are Caribbean, but what I may have been privy to or exposed to, because I am in New York and because of the flexibility and the freedom that New Yorkers have, some people within the other states may not have that kind of flexibility. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and the culture in Atlanta, Georgia is very different. I've always grew up with different Africans. I grew up with different Caribbeans, Americans. So we're forced to get to know each other. But in Georgia, because it's very different, it's not as diverse and open like how it is in New York. It's a Republican state, so it's different. You'll find that people that just moved there, like even Caribbeans, even Africans that move there, they have a different perspective on their encounters with Black Americans and their encounters with Europeans, or what really goes on in the country. Because a lot of times they have never moved from that one place. It's like being in the village and you've never been. You know how people act like when they've just been in the village and they've never been to Lagos. They're different. And I'm only saying it because I grew up with Nigerians. I know Nigerians. They're like my aunts, and they're my aunts and sisters, best friends. And so that's a fortunate side for me, where I have an advantage because I'm already exposed to different cultures, not just Nigerians, Kenyans, Ghanaians. So I've always wanted to know the culture. So growing up in school, I had teachers that came and taught us this thing. I had white teachers that would tell us things. And because, like I said, New York is a different thing, but I didn't even realize that those things were so true, more true until I got older. So, I wanted to touch on the thing what the brother said, brother Nice. I think he's talking from a position of his encounter with a few Black Americans. And some people don't realize that just like Africa has different countries, the US is so big. It has different countries with different cultures. Some people will say that Black Americans don't have a culture or Black don't have culture. You can't say that, you know. But if you are more familiar with the multiple cultures within the continent of Africa, you would spot certain things that are African within the Black American community. For instance, when I was growing up, we called the slang language Ebonics. That's what they called it. They called it Ebonics. And we didn't know nothing about Igbo, but it was until we got older. You understand? And when I got older, I realized, oh, you guys have the same words that we have. I understand pidgin. It's very similar. So I think also too, we have to realize that there's been a lot of brainwashing on both sides. There's been brainwashing with the media, within the people in the content. There's been brainwashing with us here, and I believe that once we become more exposed to different cultures and hearing different aspects of and positions of what people feel and their experiences, we'll have a more broader look and understanding what is really going on, and we'll be more in tune. Not all Black Americans think like that. Not all Caribbeans think that. Not all Africans. And I'm gonna tell you, Grace, when I say every group fights, okay? Sometimes they fight, sometimes they love each other. So just like you'll have Africans say that they have bad experience, you'll have Black Americans say, you'll have Caribbeans. They all fight. Trust me. They all fight. Listen, don't even let me start on Africans fighting with each other. So I just feel like it's just a division between our communities. You know, just like people have negative views. Not all Black Americans think like that. I mean, come on. There's just some, and I think that because they're lacking education, we have to look at it. We have to take it as a. I believe in his position, like Brother Nice, he should just have to be careful to say, okay, you know what? Let me learn what these people are about. Just like they need to come, just like Black Americans or even Caribbeans need to come with that same approach, that they need to learn the culture. They need to learn what's going on, what's the struggles with these people, what is found is disrespectful. Because some people will say, my dude, and they don't think it's disrespectful because this is a different generation. The generation that when I was younger, there's certain things you couldn't say to adults. But now, the people that is different. People are very disrespectful. You understand what I'm saying? It's so different now. So we gotta really look at things as in a different way. You know what I mean? And we can't really look at it like, everybody's like that, because everybody's not like that. You know what I mean? It may seem like, oh, everybody don't like Africans, or everybody don't like Black Americans, or all white people don't like, but we can't be like that, because if you walk around with that kind of narrative, that means you're not going to give the other person a chance or an opportunity to come and show you that, they're different, or you could be missing up an opportunity that's good. So, I'm just hoping that, we can have a different perspective on things and come with a positive note. Can you hear me? Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from, and I hope that we can all just come and be positive. I know some YouTubers have repatriated and probably came off very negatively. I think that approach, even a Black American hearing that would be offended. as I've seen other Black Americans were offended when the person was here. So I just feel like, you know, we just have to give everyone a chance and look at it like everybody's not the same. All right, y'all. I guess we gotta wait till she come back. If I were you guys, I would call in. I'm looking at Mike McGaskey. He said it's called tribalism. You know what? I want to say that I find that Blacks are very tribalistic, period. Because, you know, sometimes we say Africans are tribalistic, but I'm going to tell you, Caribbeans beef with each other, you know? So, yeah, you're right about that one. You're back, Grace.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, my network disconnected me. I just saw a
Don't
comment
worry, I
that
know how
someone
it goes.
said it's your show now. Yeah, that's good. Sorry, I missed out on some of the things you said why my network disconnected me. But going by what you started saying is the fact that, you know, there's always this fight between you know, within our community, and that's what I'm referring to, the Black community, according to what you said. Like, um we fight every now and then, but
And we
it's
love each
important.
other at the same time.
Yes, so it's important for us, to unite, you know, to present a more united front, because if we are going to earn that respect that we are demanding the world to give us, then it's important for us to, you know, to respect each other, to you know, put forth this united front. That's the only time that people are going to take us seriously. I was away from YouTube for a while, I think just a week or so, of not posting constantly. I just needed a break, and when I came back last week, I did a stream, and some people were calling my attention to something that someone posted on YouTube that was really causing a lot of
I know what you're
friction, you
talking
know.
about. And I disagree with
Yeah,
the person's approach.
yeah. So
I was offended.
I was, I didn't talk about it because I didn't know what people were saying. But when I went on and looked up the content and looked at it, to be honest, my head was like expanding and contracting. I felt really bad that that sort of thing even had to happen in the first place. And
But that's how, but that
to a large
person has
extent,
done that to us.
what?
That person has, when they were here, they came at blacks here like that. So that's just how the person is.
So they, you know, I felt the need for us to have this conversation, not in a form of,
I
you know,
agree.
a confrontational manner, but for us to try to understand some basic things, because from watching that, I felt like there was this sort of misinformation, you know, and if that continues, our brothers and sisters who are repatriating
It could
back
be risky for us.
might run into some problems if they
I
come back
agree.
with that
I
same
agree.
mindset, you know. So that's why I felt like it's important, and I from the beginning of this conversation this evening, I said I'm going to be as honest and as open as possible, because it seems like, you know, the sort of information that people put out there on YouTube always comes across like this, you know, all rosy. When you come back, it's going to be perfect, and you know, all of that. But it is not, that's not true. Far from the truth. Africa is not a perfect place. Everybody
And,
knows that.
and
The
it's not
world
perfect
itself
here.
is not perfect. America is not perfect.
It's not.
Nowhere is perfect. But when you come back, you take it that you are coming back home. And what do you do at home? You come back home to stay with family,
And
to
humble
share
yourself.
in that family bond, you know, to share the resources you have with family, and to forge, create memories, and, you know, these strong relationships that can stand the test of time. That's what people do with families and, you know, relationships. So when you come with the mindset that, oh no, I just have to come and assert myself here, like things aren't just going right, I need to fix this. Oh, who are these people? What, with that air of superiority, you are going to run into some problems, my brothers and my sisters. That's one thing you need to understand. And I've been saying it, as you are coming back, come with the mindset that you're coming back to meet with family. And another thing I need to put out there, disclaimer, is I'm not discrediting anybody's experiences. We experience the world differently. And just like I said earlier, when you come back, not everybody understands that it's important that we have our Black brothers and sisters in the diaspora to return back home. Not all continental Africans understand this narrative. But for those of us who understand this narrative and push it out there, we understand exactly how important it is for us as African people, wherever you were born, regardless, to come back to Africa if you feel the need to at any point in time, settle in Africa, feel at home, even if you are not going to do any business or anything. As far as you are self-sufficient, you are able to take care of yourself and the family you are bringing and all, you are welcome. 100%, Africa is your home. But when you come back, understand that if you are not going to be a part of the solution to the problem, then it doesn't make sense talking about it and making the people look like they are these dumb, helpless, clueless people. That's disrespectful. And if you come back with that mindset, you will run into problems with continental Africans. That's the issue. Because
let me tell you what I wanted to tell you, that it's unfortunate, but that's how some people behave here. So it's like, I mean, I don't expect much if they act like that here. You know what I mean? And I feel, I don't know how, but I think that person needed to be posted. I think the person was too much Housewives of Atlanta, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Because that's the kind of spirit the person was bringing. And I'm like, I felt like I'm watching the Housewives of Atlanta. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen that show. It's very ratchet. But, so it's like as if they don't have manners anyway. That same person would be here in the U.S. and I'm sure they will walk into their own family's home and talk to their family like that. And all of that kind of stuff we need to deal with, because I just noticed that this generation is just so different. The lack of respect, everything. When I was growing up in the South, and she's from the South, you better call somebody ma'am or auntie so-and-so or miss. But now people don't do that. So I think it would be a good thing where we will have systems or something set up in the villages for us to, like, retrain. You're dealing with also a lot of young people that have broken homes. I got to be honest to you. That's been broken. She sounds like someone that's been really broken, but maybe she can't own up to her brokenness. So she lacked a lot of sensitivity. I was very concerned because I felt like that can cause hostility towards anybody else coming there. I wouldn't want them to judge and say, well, we had a bad experience with this one. That means the rest of them is going to be like that. So I'm just hoping that the rest of us look at it as like, you know what? Let me check myself right now. And I just feel like that's probably why God is allowing all of us to be battered and beaten down here. So we can humble ourselves. I think we're too prideful. We too haughty. And that goes for all of us. I'm not even just talking about Black Americans here, honey. All of us here. I don't know what's going on here, but it's like some of us get so high-minded. Some of us that's born here, some of us that's not born here, some of us that moved here. And the division factor got to break here.
Yeah.
So maybe I think it would be good to talk to the chiefs, talk to the communities, to get some of them that are on board with that to say, you know what, how we can retrain them. So, you know what, what they were talking about, someone mentioned an idea of like a foster family, something like that, where, a host family to help with everything and to help to let them get a well assimilated into the communities. Okay, you can let Mike go.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I love you, Grace. Keep it going.
I love you too.
I'm gonna see you soon in Nigeria. Look, my best friend, her name is Peace. She's like, We're gonna go to Nigeria. I said we're not going to Nigeria yet.
You have to come. You have to.
I should have been there. I'll be there soon.
All right. I'll
All
see
right.
you when you come.
Okay,
Thank
my love.
you.
Okay,
All
bye.
right. Bye. God's Klenoff, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hello.
Yes,
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
And all the people watching, guys, how are you doing?
Please, can you speak up? I don't have my earpiece today, so I'm straining my ears to hear all of you. So just help
Okay,
me.
no problem. Africa is not for grabs. Otherwise, everybody will think it is for grabs. It is not. It is for us, not for everybody. We have to develop the place. Those who are outside, they have to save money, get knowledge, and come back. You know, just like a bird, fly out and they later return with knowledge and with money and start doing business. That's what we have to do. If Africa was not good, Grace, do you think the Chinese will be there? No, they. Can you hear me, Grace? Okay. If it was not good, the Chinese wouldn't be there, and nobody else would be there. Don't forget, during this in Zimbabwe, how to call him, Robert Mugabe. In Zimbabwe, there are still more than 25,000 whites, Zimbabwean citizens. Why they didn't leave during Mugabe? Because Africa is good. Keep it in mind. And in South Africa, there are more than 5 million whites living. Why they don't want to move, for example, to the United Kingdom? Because Africa is good. There's gold, diamond, oil, and everything else. So nobody wants to leave it. And in Africa, there are almost, I think, 11 million Chinese right now. 11 million people from China. Why? Because Africa is good. There's a lot of resources, natural resources. Everything is there. Why we are running out when nobody is waiting for us? Nobody is waiting for us in Europe, United States, Canada, Australia, in this mention. Nobody. So we have to stay home and build. If you read the history, in 1978, China was a poor country, not even a second world country. China was a third world country. Can you imagine? China was in 1978 a third world country. And then Deng Xiaoping started the rehabilitation reform. And in the 80s, China started growing. And now China is producing everything. We can't live now without China. All our telephones, just mention everything you have on your desk. The computer, the screen, everything. Computer mouse, everything is from China. When in 1978, China was zero. We have a lot of young peoples, many young peoples on the continent. So we have to do just like China. We have to do it ourselves. China did it themselves. Japan, US. So we have people, we have resources, a bit knowledge and money. Then we can do everything. just like the Chinese did. While before China, it was United States, Japan, Western Europe, who were producing everything for the world. Okay, some of the countries were producing a bit, but China was nobody. I read the history. How do you call the first leader of China? Mao Zedong. He said to some I think in the 1943, before us, we were not alive. He said that China is not a village. If you want to support us, help us. You can imagine, at the time there was nothing in China when Mao took power. So we have to do it ourselves. Those who are coming, like the Chinese, they are coming to make money and not to help. They are just coming to make money, and China is now trying to take over. You know, China is trying to take over. It's another problem that we have. They won't live peacefully. They won't. They will never live peacefully. If they are getting money and all those things, who will live peacefully? Nobody. So we have to, when we have the possibility, spend the money among each other. Like there was a place called Black Wall Street in the US. There was a lot of money there because the people were using the money among themselves only if it is necessary to buy outside. If you cannot get something inside, then you can buy outside. But when we are buying among each other, we keep the money in our community and finally in our country. That's what we have to do. Okay, but now we depend 100% on China. AliExpress, Alibaba, okay, and Amazon. But most on China. China produces everything. But we have to prepare ourselves to do business among each other and between the countries. We need one currency and open border among the countries. Okay, that's what I want to say.
I'm really straining to hear God's Klanoff. I'm really straining to hear you.
Okay, it's a bit difficult.
If you can hear him, or I can barely hear him. I know you're talking about Africa uniting and utilizing the resources we have.
Yes.
I think that's the basic I can make out from your conversation. I have another person who has joined us on the stream. That's Brother Nice. Brother Nice, please, before you speak, I can hear you. So the constant asking if I can hear you interferes the conversation. So just keep speaking. If I can't hear you, I'll tell you I can't hear you. So just keep speaking. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So so what I was saying in the conversation before it went off, I really wanted to speak with us heavily, beautifully black, but unfortunately you did not bring me in. So like what I'm trying to say, Africa as well, we don't need anybody that is proud. You understand? Anybody that think that they are coming to Africa to help Africa to grow or to develop, he should stay where he lives. We don't need that person in Africa. We will develop Africa ourselves. You understand? So, first of all, in every country in the world, they need people with skills. Even where I live today, when I came to this country, do you know what the authority asked me? What do you learn? What can you offer this country? You understand? I went to school. I went to information school. You understand? And this thing, I read this thing, what is his name? Informatician. informatic. You understand? So what is the reason why they ask? Because they don't want any immigrant that will come to their country that will not contribute to the country. So these African American, they still need to do the same thing when they go to Africa as well. You cannot just come to settle in Africa and you think that everything will just be offered to you as you come. No, Africa still need people that have skills that can contribute to to the continent. Not going there to try and ride on the people that lives there, to look down on them, and to feel that you are more superior than them. It cannot work that way. Every nation is the same. This country that I live here in France, you understand? I went to school, I integrate in this country so that I can work and I pay tax. You think I will just leave my country and come here to come and profit from them? No country will accept that. They will send you out of their country. You understand? In US, it's the same thing. So I don't know where their pride is coming from. They just think that Africa is a shithole. When they go there, go and pee on the people and the continent and the people that lives there, talk to them anyhow. It doesn't work that way. Respect is reciprocate. You understand? When you come to the continent and respect the people that lives there, they will respect you as well. You understand? So that is what I just have to say. And like the other brother that was disrespecting other African American,
Are you asking a question? Okay. It seems like he has gone off. Well, like I said, it's also important for us not to generalize the conversation, because like the sister who left said, not all of these people have that misinformed mindset. A lot of these people that have interacted with our brothers and sisters who were born outside of the continent, they have made efforts to understand Africans, continental Africans. They've made efforts based on their interactions with them in America, in the United Kingdom, in the Caribbean, and all of that. You hear them say, I have Nigerian friends, I have Ghanaian friends, Ugandan friends, I have Cameroonian friends, and I've mingled with them. I to a large extent, I think I can say I understand their culture. I'm making efforts to understand their culture. So not all, we need to get that point straight. Not all of these our African brothers and sisters have that misinformed mindset. No, a lot of them are making efforts, but for the few who come with that misinformed mindset, and based on that misinformed mindset, they put out some certain narratives that continental Africans perceive as disrespectful and condescending, are the ones that, if we allow such narratives to linger for long, might put that narrative out there. And a lot of these our African Americans or Afro-Caribbeans who watch or listen to such narratives, we come with that sort of misinformed mindset, and when they get here with that mindset, they will run into problems with continental Africans. That's what I'm saying basically. And like I said, I'm repeating it again, there is no, it's not bad, it's not wrong that you express your personal experiences when you come to a new place. For instance, you move to Nigeria, you do a business with a Nigerian, and the experience is bad. You have the right to express your experience because that's your experience. But you have to be cautious not to generalize it. The same way I don't generalize conversations when I have conversations here. I try as much as possible to be respectful to both sides of the conversation when I have conversations here. So it's important for us to remember that place of respect for all, because I tell you what, continental Africans, we've had our own experiences as continental Africans, good and bad. America, in the Caribbeans, in France, in the United Kingdom, all of that. They've had their own experiences, and we respect those experiences. So it's important that we respect both experiences on both divides. And when we have conversations, when we have this conversation, that it's important that we we remember to put respect on both of our on our experiences on both divides of the conversation, because trust me, all of us have had it bad and good in one way or the other. Okay, so when you see these conversations or these to correct those narratives. Like I said, if you come here, as far as the cultures of continental Africans are concerned, you have to tread with caution, else you run into problems. If there are things you do not understand as far as people's cultures are concerned, ask questions. Ask questions so that you can get clarity, rather than just sitting out there and then putting a sort of narrative out there that is condescending and like to make the people look like they are less than you because you are coming from a supposedly civilized place and all of that. These people, especially the people in the rural areas, as far as they are concerned, their own experiences, their own cultures are civilized, and that's what they've known all their life. So even if they do not speak English, they are not bothered. They have their languages that they use to communicate and to interact with the world, and for them that's enough. And you have to respect that. you know the fact that they do not speak the kind of English you speak does not make them any less human, or does not make their own experiences less important than your own experiences. That's what thing you need to understand fundamentally as you come. I have Mike who has joined us on the stream. So Mike, your microphone is unmuted now. Let's have your contribution. Welcome.
Hey, Bauni, how are you, man? Hey,
Mo Adada. Oh,
okay, I
Mo
just want to,
Adada.
yeah. I just want to respond to that brother Nice. I think we have to be kind of careful how we say things. Like you cannot say that Black Americans shouldn't come to Africa unless they drop their behavior. I understand it, that behavior, yes, I get it. But one thing we have to understand is this: our upbringing is different. Like Africa is a very conservative society, while Black American community society is very liberal. You understand? Our upbringing is different. Like I grew up in Nigeria until I was a teenager, and I came to America. I've been living here for over 20 years. And when I first came, yeah, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So it's a cultural shock. Like you're used to like one way of mentality, and then you see people with different mentality. Like in Africa, our upbringing, uh, in school, for example, I was in school in Nigeria. You couldn't dare disrespect a teacher or disrespect, principal or anybody, even your senior in school. You could not. But when I came to America in high school, I would see kids insulting teachers. Like, hey, they would tell teacher, "Fuck you," all that kind of things, and the teacher cannot discipline them. So, and the society encouraged them to be expressive, to speak their mind, freedom of expression, all those kind of things. So if they are raised in that kind of society, it's not their fault. It's not your fault if you are raised in that. And me as a Nigerian, growing up in a society where I was more shaped to be respectful, always be very conscious, and be reserved, it's not my fault either. But if we run into each other, it's not anyone's fault that they were brought up the way they were brought up. So what we need to do is develop a thick skin and try to, just be patient with one another. We have to be very, very patient with one another. It's those that are misbehaving, they have certain mentality. It's a matter of time. If they come to Africa, it's a matter of time that they will learn. So like that lady Akati, she's there. She's still. I could tell that this lady comes from one of the very dysfunctional community, because in America here they have a lot of dysfunctional communities, like neighborhoods where it's just a normal thing to disrespect people. It's like people talk to each other like anyhow. So we have to understand that it's not anyone's fault that they grew up in certain kind of environments. So to tell them don't come to Africa with that, again we have to understand that Africa is their birthright. These people, they just because they were any black person, to me, Africa is a birthright. Even if you have a bad behavior or anything, you know, it's their birthright. We can't tell them not to come to Africa because they have certain behavior or anything. So what we need to do is just trying to educate one another. You know, we have to work, I'm not saying tolerate bad behavior, but we should just try to communicate and we have to develop this skin, you know, just trying to communicate one another. It's a matter of time before we will learn about each other well and, you know, realize that, okay, we need to change our mentality. Like when I first came to America, I used to like get in fight with Black Americans a lot. Like, why are these people like this? Why are they so rude, you know? They just talk to you the way they like. But after a while, I learned that, listen, man, that's the way it is here. You know, you just have to adapt to it. Learn to just, you know, accept it like that, you know? So what I'm saying is we shouldn't, if we have to fight each other over the way we behave, we'll keep on fighting forever, you know? So yes, express yourself. Let someone know that, hey, this is way, I don't tolerate this, I don't tolerate that. But let's develop thick skin, you know? But anyway.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, in Africa, the whole thing of respect is such a big deal. Like
Yeah, it's a big deal.
it's a big deal that people don't take for granted, especially people in the rural areas. For the urban areas, you know, the towns and the cities, sometimes because of, you know, Western influence, some of these things get overlooked, you know. But in the more conservative communities, like you rightly mentioned, it's such a big deal. And if you come, and especially you are someone that looks like us, and then you tend to want to behave with this air of superiority, a condescending manner and all, you might run into problems, you know. And I agree with you, people, because we have different cultural experiences, so we might tend to come with those, you know, cultural relics that we've acquired over the years and all. But it's important. But one thing is fundamental: you just have to respect people. I think that everybody knows that it's not even really about cultures and all, you know. Even individuals know that I deserve respect even as an individual, regardless of my community. Everybody knows that I deserve to be respected as a human being, and I also have to respect people because respect is reciprocal. So when I do that, when I do respect people, I get respected in return. Yeah. So when you come to a place and you see differences, it's important that you respect those differences, because I was taught growing up in school that people's culture is their way of life, and no culture is superior to the other. So you have to respect, even if you don't agree with those cultural practices. You just have to respect, you know, those cultural practices. And I
Virtue
said
Grace.
it because when you come with this superiority, you will run into problem, because these people, this is what they've known all their lives. This is who they've been all their lives. So if you come and you think because you have this and they do not have this, so it's such a big deal that you are going to sit and talk about it and amplify it to make them look like they are less than you are and all of that, you are going to find resistance. I cannot emphasize this enough. I can't, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Over time, they will learn that. You know, if you move to Africa, you come with your this thing. You move to an environment, you come with your own mentality. It's a matter of time before you will learn. Whereas after someone deals with you, you will learn that, okay, hold on, I need to adjust. You know, I need to understand that. Okay, so it's a matter of time. You know, like little like Aunt Kathy. You know, it's a matter of time before she will run into Gambians and, you know, she get dealt with, and then she realize that, okay, over here is different, you know. So people have to experience things to understand that they have to shape themselves, they have to reform the way they are, you know. See, virtue Grace, you need to move to America, man, to really understand Americans. I'm telling you, like in Africa, respect is just an obligation that you have to respect somebody, whether they are a stranger, your neighbor. But in America, it's like respect is something that you have to earn. Like people don't just respect you, it's like you have to earn it. That's just the way America is structured. Like literally, the only place you can walk in America where someone will just naturally automatically give you respect is the place of business. When they want you, it's a place of business where they will smile to you and be nice to you. But in America, if you walk into a group, walk into a place where they don't know you, they will not respect you because they don't know you. You have to present something for them to respect. You know, it's like America is a whole different ball game. I'm telling you, it's a society where respect is like it's like a commodity. It's like I can't give you unless you give me something back. So that's just the way America. That's why America is very dysfunctional. That's why when people Americans move to Africa, they automatically fall in love with the environment. Like, whoa, it's like they feel that sense of luxury. Like, whoa, I mean, I've never felt like this where I'm just being respected. America is a country where I'm telling you, your neighbors don't greet you. They don't say hi to you. They're your neighbor, your own neighbor. You can be living together next door for 20 years and they won't talk to you. They literally have to see a reason to talk to you. That's where America is. It's just so you really have to live here to understand why Americans think the way they think. You have to live here to understand why Americans reason the way they think. You know, it took me a while to learn that. You know what? This is the way they are, and that's why, like many Africans, when we come here, we sit down. Many of us don't want to adopt with it. That's why we trying to distance ourselves from Americans, and they take it personal. They say, especially Black Americans, like they are very liberal. I think Black Americans are way more liberal than any other culture and community in America. They're too liberal, man. Like literally, I mean, the way you see the way Black Americans interact with each other, man, like they are very, very liberal. And when Africans move here, they see that they don't want to like adopt. They don't. It's like it makes them very uncomfortable. So many of them want to distance themselves. And when Black Americans see these Africans distancing themselves, they take it very personal. They think it's coming from a place of hatred, but they don't understand it's coming from a place of mentality and culture. Like these Africans are not used to these people being so liberal and so expressive and just not understanding that respect is something very huge, where they come from, So these things I think is with time, I think everybody will start to really understand why we all reason the way we reason and start to understand that nobody really hate anybody. It's just our way of life is just kind of different. So it's a matter of time before, like it's just recently that even I came to America in the 90s. I came here like in 98, and the Africans, the African communities, like America was very separated, very segregated back then, to be honest. It was when like social media came out that people started learning about each other, that people are now trying to like move, like trying to get to know each other. But back then, nobody really cared to know anybody. Like even Black Americans, they were not interested in trying to know the African immigrants. They were not interested in trying to be your friend or anything like that, but because they didn't see the relevance of trying to know an African person. But now they are like trying to know the Africans. But then what they're noticing is that these Africans are not like trying to get close. They're distancing themselves in a way. And they think the Africans don't like them. But that's not the reason. It's like the Africans just don't want to, they're not used to that liberal mentality, the liberal culture. So many of them just want to like that hold back and say, they study the Black American. There's many Black Americans very conservative. Some Black American conservative people, they were brought up, many of them like maybe their parents were in the military. I mean, to be honest, if you go to rural part of America, you'll find conservative culture, conservative mentality. So me, for example, like when I go to like in America, they call it the suburbs. When I meet Black Americans in the suburbs and the African community in the suburbs, they tend to connect easily because in the suburban part of America, the people are a lot conservative. But the urban parts, they're extremely liberal, So it's not like there's a divide. It's just that people are not comfortable with each other's way of reasoning. So that's what I think it is. Well, over time, I think all these things will be understood and people will kind of advance, But I think on the continent, we do need the diasporas. We need that. And in fact, we need that liberal energy in Africa to some degree because that conservative way we're brought up in Africa is kind of killing us in a sense. Because think about it. In African countries, you have your leaders just walking over you. I mean, they like just walking over you. But at one point, we need that liberal energy. We need the diasporans to come there, especially Black Americans, to really come and teach Africans how to be expressive, to be honest, because we are too gullible, allowing our leaders to just rule us and just misbehave, and we keep quiet, So we are too conservative, and it's kind of hurting us a lot on our continent. So we need that diaspora energy. We need that energy to some degree, but not to the extreme. Like our Kathy, for example, she see the whites and the Lebanese when they misbehave. she's a liberal woman. She's expressive. She's not going to tolerate that. You understand? She's the kind of person that'll probably slap a white man in Africa if he disrespect her. Like she will curse him out. But an African person will still want to show respect. Want to prove that you're a respectful person and things like that. So I don't think the liberal energy is bad. I don't think it's necessarily bad. But it's just the respect out of it that's who makes someone that was raised in an extremely conservative society to feel very uncomfortable. So with time, I don't think it should be something we should see as a thing of hatred or something. We just need to we have to develop thick skin and try to understand one another. Yeah.
Okay. I've listened to your conversation, and I'm going to answer this question.
Bro,
again.
I agree with you.
Brother Nice, just hold on. Someone asked me a question here that Virtue Grace, do you think it's best for Afro-Americans to culturally assimilate to African cultures? Yes, I would say yes, because the truth is African culture is such a big deal to Africans that when you come here, it's important for you to assimilate, and that way you are going to coexist with the people more easily. You are going to make an impact, more, especially if you are coming here with a mindset of doing business or settling here and living here amongst the people. Then you have to understand the people's culture, and when you understand the culture, it's easier for you to make a difference. But if you come with this already antagonistic stance, or this condescending stance, or that so-called liberal energy that you think, okay, Americans are liberal, like my brother is saying, if you come with that mindset, you are going to have a problem. It's always important for you to strike a balance. Remember, Africans perceive that so-called liberal energy that Americans have as something, as a turn off. So if you are coming with that same liberal energy here, that young people can talk to adults anyhow and get them off, you are going to have problems. That is not how things are done here. For some of us, we I mingle, I'm on social media, I see those things play out. And there's something else that happens. I see clips on social media where you see two African brothers, African American brothers fighting, and some people are standing by and just shouting. Some are even making videos and like, hey bro, you didn't just do that. Oh bro, hey, they're shouting and like hailing them or watching them fight. Two black people in America, and I'm like, why can't you just go and separate them? Because in this part of the world, that's typically what happens. When you see two people fighting and you are around, you rush in to separate them and try to you try to mediate between them to settle their differences. That's how, that's what I know. That's how it's done. But when I see these videos on social media, you see two black people fighting, and then tomorrow we stand up and say, oh, white people are killing us. When you yourself are fighting, and I'm not saying that Africa is perfect, like, African nations fight against each other, African communities fight against each other. But these are just like the basic things. If right there in America, in the center of where we are seeing this, injustices meted out against a particular race, then it's important that this race should unite first. You see, things not going well, step in and mediate between them, and not stand on the sidewalks and watch and laugh, make
Virtue
videos
Grace.
and hail them on, and then
Virtue
you
Grace.
pass and go. It breaks my heart when I watch those kind of videos. Trust me. So when you come to Africa,
individualism.
that's not the kind of energy the people are expecting you to come with. So for instance, you come back here and you see two people fighting and you are standing there and hailing them, hey, 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 hey. Continental Africans will come to that situation and see you as, who is this kind of person? You stood there, you saw this happening and you couldn't say anything about it. So these are the subtle nuances that we need to understand as we even make plans to repatriate and come back and settle in Africa. These are some of the subtle nuances that you need to understand.
Virtue grace is
Someone
called individualism.
an important question. Rennie is asking an important question that I need to pin here. She says, but virtue grace, what is the solution for Afro-Americans? Re-education camps before traveling to an African country. Perhaps that's going to help, that's going to help. And that's why a forum like this is also important. As there are many Black people in media on YouTube, that I feel like it's important for us to start putting out this balanced narrative as against constantly putting out the information that, oh, come back to Africa, Africa is perfect, is good. Yes, they've shown you negative things about Africa, but this and no, let's show the picture of Africa, in a balanced manner, how it is, so go for information. Someone once said something that I think is very important. You are in the US, for instance, you have Nigerians who are living in the US, you have Ghanaians living in the US, you have Ugandans in the US, you have Zimbabweans there, Zambians there, they are all over. You have continental Africans who have migrated to America, to the United Kingdom, and all of that, and are there. You can start from there. They have communities, mingle with them, seek information about these different countries that you're interested in going to, about the cultures, about, just information that would help you to better interact with the people as you come, from a place of information, not just standing and coming. And yes, I agree with you. Education camps would also serve. So diasporans, continental Africans who have migrated to the Western world, you can put up initiatives like this. I'm sure a few exist, but if they're not enough, then you have a gap that you need to fill. Give people the opportunity to learn to acquire the information they need to acquire about the continent, balanced information, first-hand information before they come, so that when they come here, they have the information, they have an idea of how things are done on the continent before they come, to avoid a place of, running into problems and having this sort of friction as they come. Because all we want is to unite and to build this continent, Africa, to make it develop to what we want.
Yeah, so hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, go on.
Okay. So one thing you have to understand also about American society is they practice something called individualism. And this is something they really teach them from school. Individualism, meaning like you as an individual, you have to have your own mind, your own individual culture, just individual. And the reason why they practice it is because America is a capitalist country, you understand? In capitalism, individualism really helped the market, you understand? Because when you're an individual, you tend to be very materialistic and very consumptive, So they teach them that. So, and it destroys culture. It really kills community, destroys community. Individualism is so practiced to the point that unfortunately, Black Americans are the one that practice individualism the most. They practice it to an extreme. And I always tell many of them, like, this thing is not for you. It's terrible. Let me give you one example. One thing that will shock you, Virtue Grace. Do you know in Black American neighborhood, if you witness somebody kill somebody, you are not supposed to tell the police. They'll call it snitching. If you witness a crime and you tell the police, people in that community will see you as an enemy. They can even potentially kill you for being a snitch. That's not a community. That's individualism. Unlike in Africa, communal, where if somebody comes to your neighborhood and commit crime, the whole neighborhood will turn against that criminal. And the person that witnessed the crime, the whole neighborhood will celebrate you for speaking up about what you witnessed, for fishing out the criminal. But in the Black American community, you pointing out who committed that crime, it's like you're violating individual culture. Like you're supposed to be yourself. You're supposed to mind your business. You're not supposed to tell on somebody that commit crime. I'm telling you, this will shock you. This is a cultural shock. This is something I saw. It was a time I was very lucky. I witnessed a guy that burglarized someone's house. I mean, that's when we first moved to America. And when the police came, I gave the description. I told them that in front of everybody, I was telling the police. And the police, they told me that, hey, I need a witness protection, that I have to move away from that neighborhood because my life will be in danger. Because here, you don't tell. You know, it's just it's a place where if you come America, you witness a lot of cultural shock. So what's going on right now is this like the first time where you guys are way on the other side of the continent. So a lot of things you see on the internet is shocking you, surprising you. Like, why are these people like, what is this? What is that? Until you move to America before you understand why Americans think the way they think, And that's why it's very important that Black Americans themselves, they need to visit, they need to travel, they need to visit other society and see how things are done differently. Because they are wonderful people, but they don't know other ways. They don't know other alternatives. They haven't witnessed anything different. You understand? And in America, the whites and the blacks are very segregated. The whites separate themselves from the blacks. So the blacks, they only know their own environment. And most of the things in the environment is all they know. And they can't picture something different, an alternative, or things, a different way to do things, And unfortunately, for Virtue Grace, this one racist thing that white people did. This racist thing of using their mainstream media over the years, especially in the 90s and 80s, to promote Black American way of life as this something that's very cool for young people to be practicing. And I noticed it a lot in Nigeria, like especially in like Lagos. A lot of our young people want to be Black Americans. They want to start practicing the things they see on TV. Baby mama cool, gangsterism. Let's be, they listen, a lot of them consume a lot of hip hop music, And what I see, the dysfunctional things that I see in the Black American community, I'm starting to, every time I travel to Nigeria, especially Lagos, I'm starting to see it happen a lot in those society. Our youths in Nigeria are becoming very, 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 they're starting to adopt this Western mentality and thinking it's something that's cool. And that thing is dangerous, man. I'm telling you. You guys should hold on to your African culture. It's the best. I've traveled in Europe, I've traveled around the world. The African culture, when I say culture, I'm not talking about entertainment. Like I'm saying the culture, the norms, the way of our very conservative culture, our respecting elders, and no culture is perfect, but I can categorically tell you that from my experience of traveling around the world, the African culture is the best. It's the best for a community. It's the best for a society. That culture of unity and caring for your neighbor, caring for one another, caring for each other's welfare. Trust me, it's not very practiced in other parts, especially in the Western world. It's not. It's not. And that's why people in the Western world, they're not as happy. They don't have that same level of happiness as the African people. Because what brings happiness what brings happiness your environment, how people around you treat you. It's what determines how you feel, how happy you are. And in Africa, even the poorest human being, you see them smiling, you see them happy, you see them laughing. No matter how poor you get, somebody will take care of you. Your neighbor will feed you. Somebody will greet you. Somebody will, when you're down, somebody can come talk to you, give you therapy, encourage you. But in the Western world, if you are depressed, trust me, no one cares. Even your neighbor will laugh at you that you are depressed. You have to spend money to go and see therapy. You have to spend money to go and see someone to give you comfort, to talk to you, to give you, some form of therapy to make you feel good. But in Africa, it's free. Once you're a depressed person, even a pregnant woman that just had a baby, the whole neighborhood, all the women in the community will come there to help her. In America, when you give birth, you have to go and hire. You have neighbors that can help you, but you have to go and hire somebody, pay money to come and help you as a woman that just gave birth. They just, those things, So I will urge Africans, just hold on to your culture, man. No matter how they laugh at you that we are poor people, our culture is not the reason why we are poor. It's just our system, the system that European brought to us, this political system that they brought there is once an African, you take an African away from that place where is capital deprived in Africa. Because one problem we have is that we have the capital deprivation is the reason why most Africans are poor. Because most Africans are very smart and entrepreneur by nature. The moment you take an African and put them in the European society where the capital, whatever the missing piece is there, we tend to thrive more than anybody else. Trust me. People envy us. Even our Nigerian community here in America, white people look at us and like, man, I really envy your culture. How do you guys come together like this and just love one another and you guys do meetings and get together? How do you do it? Can you teach me, So our culture is very beautiful in Africa, So Yes, we can learn from other culture. We can learn from the liberal people, because sometimes I think you can learn a piece of things from other people, but it doesn't mean yours is bad. Because one thing I know the racist media I've always known over the years is is to teach us that everything Africa is bad and everything Western is good. And this is all for capital, for monetary gain. That's what it is. They want you to consume everything that comes from the West and not consume things that come from Africa. So it's all about money. So what I have to say, I mean, basically what I'm saying is Africans should know that you have a beautiful culture. That's why when people come, Black Americans, they visit Africa, they fall in love with the culture. They fall in love with the people. So Virtue Grace, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike, for your contribution. I appreciate it. I like the perspective you've brought from both sides, the American side and the Nigerian side. So that's the point I've also been trying to make here all day long, that it's important to understand the cultures, because when you come here, you are going to experience culture shock, because we are totally different based on our experiences and all, the experiences we have acquired over the years. So when you come, it's important to make efforts to understand the culture. And if you don't understand, rather than bashing it and talking things about it negatively, ask questions, seek to understand. That's the point I've been making, basically. And yes, so God's Klanoff wanted to answer your question as well, Renee. Hope I got the name right. So God's Klanoff, you have the floor. Please speak up.
Hello.
Increase your volume
I'm
in
again.
your voice.
It's me again. God's here. Now, the question of Renee, every country where you are going to live in, you have to somehow assimilate. Yes, that's the truth. You have to assimilate, even if it is not 100%, but 50 to 60%. You have to. There's no other way. I have lived in first world country, second world country, and third world country. So I know I have lived in all three types of countries. And I speak different languages. So I have adapted somehow that, and you have to do that to make life easier, understandable for the people around you in the new environment. So you cannot move to, for example, to Ghana and will not adapt a bit to the system in Ghana or to Nigeria. You have to. There's no other way. And maybe you will learn some local words or even a language. That's part of life. You cannot without. I can remember I watched years ago. YouTube was not so like it is now. Some years ago, when YouTube was just starting, on the TV, I saw somebody move to, I think it was to Benin. I don't know which language they speak there. I think a guy from Germany went to it, and then when he go to the market, and the people are trying to speak English with him, and then he's speaking the local language with them. They were surprised. Hey, you are speaking our language better than us. I think it was in Benin. They speak French. So he went to, I don't know to do what, and he learned the local language there. I don't know what they speak in Benin. Is it Wolof? Do somebody knows? So guys, you have to a bit effort, even if it is a language class once a week. For example, a Friday evening, 1 hour, 2 hours to learn a language. You have to do that. It will make life easier for you, and especially if you are doing business. When the locals...
Hello, can anyone hear me?
You cannot hear me?
can hear you.
Okay. When the locals
Am I still
will notice that you can speak also their language, they will be very happy to do business with you. Believe it or not, it is just like that. If you are living, for example, in Luxembourg, Luxembourg is one of the richest countries in the world. And you will move to Ghana, you must know there's a big difference. It's a big difference between a rich country and a country what we call third world, first world and third world. I repeat again, in 1978, China was not a second world country. China was a third world country. Remember, 1978, China was a third world country. So there's no problem. Africa can be developed and become a first world country too in a short time.
May I ask you a question? What is the definition?
Go ahead.
What is the definition of a first world country, second world country, and a third world country? What how do you differentiate? Yeah.
The developed countries, before it was Japan, United States, Western Europe, they called first world countries. And the second world countries was Poland, Russia.
I mean the definition, not the countries, because you're naming countries. I'm just saying the definition. What? Okay, let's say you put it.
The first world countries, they are the developed countries. Transport, education, and I think medical. There are 3 points for the first world country.
Okay, so now I have another question. What exists in a first world country that does not exist in a third world country? And what exists in a third world country that does not exist in a first world country?
Everything exists, but it's the way it is organized.
So you're saying the level of organization
of the service, exactly.
Or the service.
There are some countries.
Because to be honest, when people in America here, there are places that are worse than places in Nigeria.
Of course.
And they are in Nigeria, there are places that are far more beautiful than places in America.
Of course.
So when we start saying, and to be honest with you, I think the only difference between issue in, for example, if I put Nigeria next to America, the only difference is just that in America they have something called a welfare program, a netting program, where when you are extremely poor and you can't feed yourself, they have a way to tax people that have money to kind of give you to get you on your feet. I mean, make sure you don't starve. But in Africa, there's no netting system like that, welfare system. That's the only difference. But when people are saying, oh, in a first world country, everybody's there, it's just rich, or everybody is economically
No.
Because most Americans are extremely poor. Most Americans are negative in the bank. They're in debt.
Yeah, even the richest country, that is Luxembourg, right? Even in Luxembourg, they have people getting allowance. You can imagine the richest country of the world right now. That is the way it is organized. There are some countries where the transport is so organized that even doesn't matter on which area of the country you live and you want to go to the airport, there's always a connection that will, bring that you are on time.
And this is what I also noticed. Like, it's not every part of that country that's that organized. Because what many of us do is this. We go to the most best part of the Western country. Like maybe you go to New York and see how they are so organized with their transport system. And then we compare with Nigeria and say, oh, look. But then there are other part of America where their system is so that the transport system is so disorganized and so messed up. But we don't talk about that part. So one thing that's where I'm going here is there's this mentality of we Africans only we it's like we are black people and we are white people in a black skin. The way white people talk is where we are talking. It's like when we want to talk about ourselves, we just talk about the bad things about ourselves. But when we want to talk about white people, we talk about European and America, we talk about the good thing about them. But there are more good things about Africans than there is about... There
are more good things, even. More. I will prove to you that there are more. Let's say, for example, take the richest country, right, Luxembourg. If they remove the welfare system, what will happen with those people? They are finished.
In America,
right?
in America, if they remove the welfare system, you will see people will be dropping dead because most Americans
Yes, of course.
are just. But in Africa, there's no welfare system, but people are still they struggle, they hustle, and they still make money. They still find ways to do things. But
yes,
know,
and exactly, and those things in countries like Luxembourg, the richest country, they
find a
cannot
way.
do it.
Yeah, and people find a way to help each other too. People survive.
Yes,
When I go
exactly.
to so we are more advanced people than these people. The only thing we can say is maybe they are doing technology, and we say okay. And when we look at technology, it's not like every citizen of that country knows how to do technology. You understand?
Of course.
We can't say because technology is coming from America or Europe, that means these people, they are more advanced than these Africans.
Let me tell you something. I'm working for a company with more than 100,000 people. When I told them that where do they do internet banking, you know what they say? Europe, United States, no, it's in Africa, is ahead with technology, knowledge. While still in Europe and United States, a lot of people cannot do internet banking. Can you imagine? When I told them that it's in Africa, everybody was surprised. How? They went and checked on it and they said, my God, it's in Africa. It's the way they organize it in Europe, the United States, and other countries, and the welfare system, Japan. That's what is helping them. Nothing else, not knowledge. Many people in the countries we call first world, they are more uneducated than we are. Believe it or not, it's just the reality.
Yeah, so there's another question that Rene is asking, that do Africans learn about African cultures in Africa and history or colonial education about West Europe? We learn about Africa and African history and our the part of we are taught colonial history as well, the fact that the Europeans came to Africa and all the activities that they carried out, the amalgamation, the colonialism, and a little bit about this slave trade that happened, that we had some of our ancestors taken away from Africa. So we are taught all of that in school, but more about our African cultures and our African history. In Nigeria, for instance, we are taught in school about our Nigerian cultures, and then we are taught about our Nigerian history, which includes the colonial history, our political history, and all of that. I, I wasn't taught about, for instance, Kenyan history. No, but Africans in Kenya, we most definitely will be taught about Kenyan history and all of that in school. So that's how it is done. We are not taught about American history, or British history and all of that. No, it's not part of our curriculum in school. The only reference that is made to the West is a reference that has to do with colonialism, the fact that they came and all of that. So that's what we are taught. Renee is really asking very important questions. And the fact that I like the questions you're asking, because she's asking that how can we address this issue of culture clash, when people just move from there and get here. How can we try to put in place systems that would help um, educate and inform these people, our Black people, as they come back? So setting up education camps, like you said, is also a good initiative that any country can put up as part of their programs for Africans in diaspora who are repatriating back to Africa, so that they can be taught about the culture and the history. Nigeria, for instance, is so diverse. Like, we have about 500 ethnic groups, if not more, in Nigeria, and that's like over 500 different cultures. So you most definitely can't learn every single one. Born and brought up in Nigeria, I do not know all the cultures in Nigeria. But at least to a large extent, I know the most prominent ones. You have Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Tiv, Efik, Ibibio, and all of that. You know, those prominent ethnic groups whose cultures are out there. We learn about them maybe by just maybe mingling with each other as Nigerian citizens. You get to learn about each other's cultures. Nigeria has a program for university or tertiary institution graduates that is called the National Youth Service Scheme. At the end of your tertiary institution, you are posted under the government scheme to different parts of the country so that you can learn about the cultures of those people. That initiative came about shortly after the Nigerian Civil War, because some of the things that remotely led to the civil war in Nigeria were this, this sort of cultural differences and misunderstandings. Because again, going back to the history of Nigeria, Nigeria was a different entity. But when the Europeans came, the British set up the Northern and Southern Protectorates, and then in 1914, these Northern and Southern Protectorates were amalgamated into what we have today as Nigeria. That's how it came. And the Northern Protectorate, which is present-day Northern Nigeria, have a different culture altogether. And the prominent religion in the northern part of Nigeria is Islamic religion, while in the southern part here, the prominent religion is Christianity, and then we also have some Muslims on this side. In the middle belt, we have Christianity, but in all of these, the different cultures. So when these people were brought together under this forced marriage by the British colonial masters, there were a lot of misunderstandings that lingered for so long that eventually led to the civil war, and that aside from the other political
Grace,
differences, which
can
were
I
not fetched from
can
these
I add something before I forget?
cultural differences as well. So it's important when you come to Nigeria, you might not necessarily understand all the cultures, but the prominent ones. And again, we have overlapping cultural practices amongst us. So setting up education camps to be good, just to give you an overview of the cultural um, experiences that you are going to have in Nigeria. And when you go to Ghana also, there are different ethnic groups in Ghana. So if these programs are put up by our government to address these potential culture shocks that people are going to experience, it will foster better um coexistence, amongst continental Africans and diaspora Africans who choose to repatriate back to the continent. That, I think, is going to do a lot of good.
Grace,
Really.
Grace,
Yes.
can I add something? The difference is what you are just talking about. They will always be. That's not a problem.
Yes.
Even if the borders between Nigeria and Kenya and Uganda are going to be free, they will always exist. It's not a problem. Europe has more than that. Take a country like Germany. Then you will see that they have different parts. Now take another smaller country in Europe, Belgium. They have the capital of Europe, right? Belgium, read their history. Recently they wanted even to divide the country. Can you imagine? A smaller country, maybe like a Lagos area. They wanted to divide. Why? The cultural differences among different whites exist in all of Europe. I met a British guy, or in Britain. Yes, I was in Britain. And one white man is asking me, do you understand the Walesman? I say, what do you mean? He said, they speak so difficult. Can you imagine? A white British man is asking me if I understand the Walesman. Can you imagine? I say, what do you mean? He said that the Walesmen, they speak so difficult, he cannot understand them. When he's a born British white man, white mama, white papa, and he's coming to ask me that English is not my first language. Can you imagine? So those differences will exist. They are everywhere in Europe.
We also have to understand that
Yeah.
the civil wars in Africa were organized by the Europeans, So
Of course.
the idea that Africans tribalism, and also this tribe. Virtue Grace, you have to understand something. Do you know that African countries, for example, Nigeria, is the size of about 6 European countries? Do you know that Yoruba land, if you think I'm lying, look it up, Google it up. The size of Yoruba land, look it up, is bigger than England, right? Just a tribe, what we call a tribe in Nigeria. That's a nation, that's not a tribe. But Europeans came to Africa and take a whole bunch of nations, put them together and start calling those nations tribes. In Europe, do you know that Congo, that country, Congo in Nigeria, is bigger than the whole Western Europe? It's the size of combination of Germany, France, Belgium, England, Italy, a few other European countries. But when you go to Congo, you go there, and the nations that were there before, you start calling them tribes, you know. And Africans, despite this, I mean, we really haven't had that much conflict like that, you know. Despite being forced together, we still figure ways to get along and still live together and trying to develop. Despite that, you can't go to Europe and take a bunch of European countries, put them together, and give them an African language, and say, okay, from now on, you guys are a country. They will kill each. People will finish each other. If Europeans, they are more. I mean, ethnic. What's the word? More intolerance of others compared to Africans. Africans are very tolerant of one another. Despite our differences, we usually hardly. If you take away the poverty, Africa, you won't see a conflict in Africa at all. You will not see it, man. Because what do you see? You live in Nigeria. Anyone that live in Africa, you know that. You don't see where Africans that are well fed. You don't see them. They don't engage in ethnicity or ethnic violence and things like that. It's places where you have extreme poverty, and then you have things where people feel like, okay, maybe land is being stolen and things is being taken. That's where you find it. But in Europe, these people will. I live in Europe and America. You see human beings that are well fed, and they'll still eat and they'll still kill other human beings over some stupid things. In America, I have seen where people kill somebody over shoes, over tennis shoes, man. We don't do things like that in Africa. We are not crazy. We are not violent people. We are not. We're people that reason. Africans are very intelligent people, but that's not the way they describe us. That's not the way they describe us. You know, we are very intelligent people. You know, even the Nigerian civil war that you mentioned, that civil war, many Nigerians don't know. When I came to the West, when I was in the U.S. military, I started studying a lot of things about Africa, because there, you know, I was in a special unit where they give us information about, you know, operation the Western government are doing in different countries, especially in Africa. There's something they call covert operation, where, you know, they stab the enemy in the dark, basically, where they organize coups and organize events. That 1966 coup that happened in Nigeria, many Nigerians think it was just a group of soldiers that woke up and decided to go carry out a coup. That coup was orchestrated by the British government. Many Nigerians don't know. During that 1960, you see, the thing is this: we Africans, we need to start learning about our neighbors.
Grace, you forgot about me, huh?
We need. Oh, sorry, my brother.
No,
let me just finish this statement.
Mike.
Let me finish this statement quickly.
Hold your thoughts for a second. Sorry. Hold your thoughts for a second. We have Brother Nice, just hold on to. Give me a second. We have a new guest, Chevron. Chevron, are you still there?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
here.
Chevron just joined us. So let's have Chevron make our own contribution as well. Then we'll get back to every other person. So welcome, Chevron. I like your name.
Thank you. Thank you. So
please speak up.
Can you hear me?
It seems you are far from your mouthpiece or your microphone, so speak up.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I just want to say that, you know, I am married to someone whose entire generation was born and raised on an African soil. Unlike me, an African American, my husband is like, he's per African. Being an African elite to African race brings a kind of feeling that can't be taken away. And sometimes when I hear that a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, or a South African is involved in something terrible, I always want to get to the truth of the matter, because it makes me happy. And I feel this way because I am Black, and also because feeling that our ancestors are African origins. I just feel like it's time to regroup, rethink, and restart building the continent of Africa. That's what I feel. I also work with some gentlemen who they are from Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, and Congo. I will share the platform with you in a via private chat. It would be great if we can talk privately so that I can share the benefits and amazing plans that are on the platform for you, me and every Black person. And I just want to say I want to thank you for all the good that you are doing. Also,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
I appreciate it, Renee. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not Renee. Chevron. Thank you. I appreciate your contribution. You look good, by the way. Did I say
Thank
that?
you.
Okay. Yeah. So, Brother Nice has been quiet. So, Brother Nice, you have the floor now. Now, everybody have 3 minutes to make their points. We go around because we have to start rounding up. So, Brother Nice, you have 3 minutes to say what you, before Brother Nice speaks, thank you so much, M Motives, for the super chat. Thank you, I appreciate it. And for everybody who has sent me super chat since the conversation started, I deeply appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so Brother Nice, you have the floor. Seems like Brother Nice is not here. Okay, so Mike.
Can I add something?
Okay, God's clear enough.
Yes, I want to say to all our brothers and sisters watching and the lady who just speak, save some money, start doing business in African countries. Okay? Save some money and start, because the West is a machine. You are just a part of the machine when you work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I
Thank you
think the
so
guy
much.
is come back.
Hello?
Brother Nice, you have 3 minutes to make your point.
I thought I was the one that's supposed to speak. I thought I was the one that.
I don't know if the delay is coming from
Okay.
your side, but I called you several times. There was no response, so I moved on. Now you are back, so you have the floor. 3 minutes.
What I'm. Why is doing this? Oh. Okay. So, like what I was trying to say about the African Americans. So, if they are trying to come to the continent, nobody stop them. So they are free to come. Africa is open for all blacks, as I said before. So, and the only thing that I just want to advise them to put their pride aside and try to integrate and learn. And we should learn from each other. That's all. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Very important. Africa belongs to all of us, but
Hello?
it's just important for us to respect each other as we move and cohabit on the continent. That's the only time we can achieve meaningful development as a black race. Um, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's important that the diasporans come to Africa and trying to see what it can present. And one thing we need to learn is this: immigration is a very good thing. That's what most people don't understand. If we really understand the concept, we will know that it's important that we reach out to the diasporans Because one thing about life is this, one thing about human being is this. When human being move from one environment to another, it comes with something unique to the environment. You understand? It brings something unique. And that's why America has been getting ahead of everybody. America relies heavily on immigration. What America does is America goes to different countries and bring different people, and they try to bring the best from those countries. They've been even Europe. Most of the successful white Americans were European immigrants, either first generation, either immediate immigrant or their first generation. When you move from one society to another, you come with a fresh mind, a fresh idea that you can look around and say, oh, wow, this is the way they do things where I'm coming from, and they don't have their idea here. So let me bring it in. Let me introduce it to them. You understand? So if we reach out to diasporans, and they're coming from respective countries, whether Brazil, Caribbean, United States, when they get to Africa, they can look at certain things, maybe business practices, and say, hold on, there's a way they do things, this thing that they're doing here, there's a way they do it better where I come from. Now they will introduce that new way of doing this and make a change. You understand? Like, okay, I have this better way of doing things, so let me introduce it to these people. So that's why I think immigration is very important. It's a good thing, you know. So it's important that we encourage the diasporans to come to Africa, you know, and bring whatever talents, whatever idea or system they may have learned in other world to, you know, contribute, you know. So that's one thing I would say about immigration. But the point I was saying earlier about Africa, the issue of Africa, the divisions that they're talking about, we have to understand what we need to start learning as Africans, because what I noticed is this: in Nigeria, only understand Nigerian politics. It doesn't pay attention to the politics of countries around Nigeria or around Africa. So as I was mentioning earlier about the 1966 coup that happened in Nigeria, what many Nigerians don't know is that within that January 1966 and December 1955 and February, within that 3 months, there was simultaneous coup that happened all over Africa that we don't know. I think it was December 1955, which was like a month or two before the Nigerian coup. There was a coup that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. There was also a coup that overthrew the Togolese president. There was also coup. I mean, like there was simultaneous coup going on. And what do these coups have in common? This government that were being overthrown during that time were government that were pro-Pan-Africanists. Don't forget that Nnamdi Azikiwe, the Nigerian president that time, was a Pan-Africanist. He was a friend of Malcolm X, a friend of, and that was the same 60s when the time they were assassinating Black American Pan-Africanists, people like Malcolm X, all those people. So but in Nigeria, we don't see like that. We don't see that big picture. All we saw was a group of Igbo soldiers went and assassinated northern politicians, and it was just a tribal thing. But we don't think beyond that. These things that are going on in Africa, this division, is something orchestrated by Western powers, just to create that divide and conquer, to continue to create that divide and conquer among Africans, to enforce their interest. So Africans, we need to start learning more. We start seeing bigger picture of our situation rather than just looking at it from a local perspective, you know, because our division is the number one reason why we are not advancing. In Nigeria, for example, until the day where all these ethnic groups can come together and say, you know what, let's get together and focus on common goal and solve our problems. Until we do that, we'll never, trust me, we'll remain where we are. We'll remain where we are. And one of the group of people that can come in and actually introduce a different view on how to reason beyond ethnic are the diasporans. If we start having huge diaspora communities in the respective African countries, they can come in and be neutral. They can be neutral and wonder, okay, what's going on? Why are you guys so ethnic? Why are you guys so tribalistic? We don't know what tribe we come from. So, I mean, why can't you guys just be like us? Not be so relative to you tribal this thing, and let's focus on solving problems, you know? So that's why I think immigration is that's one way immigration can help African countries. If we can bring diasporans in, they can come in with a fresh idea, because diasporans are really not coming into Africa with a tribal mindset or ethnic mindset. They're just coming in to come back home. That's it. And if we can see them and see the way they think, the way they reason, we Africans can start understanding that, okay, maybe I can just be a nationalist person and not be a tribalist, you know, an ethnic minded person, you know. So relating with one another, we can learn a lot from each other. So I think the coming together is very important. And let's focus on the positive. There's always going to be negatives. There's always going to be people that will behave certain ways, that will kind of want to discourage you to welcome others. But let's focus on the positive. For example, as we talk about Art Cathy, well, let's not forget people like Danis Emir. Danis come to Africa. He comes, you know, he doesn't come there to disrespect the people. He comes there, you know, to promote and to, you know. So if you want to judge Black American that are expatriating to Africa, let's not look at the negative and focus on the negatives. Let's also look at the positives. If we're going to look at Art Cathy, let's also look at Danis Emir, you know. Let's look at the other guys that are actually coming there with positive minds and respect, you know. So let's not look at negative things and base it on reason why we should be discouraged about things, you know. So that's my point, yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate your contributions as well. So last but not the least, we have Chevron. Chevron, we're rounding up, so let me have your final
I just want to say that I appreciate everything that you've done, and it's really good. And also, just to touch on the things that he was saying, I agree with what he's saying. We should also be building and teaching things like, you know, technology skills and things like that within Africa, so that our people would know how to do those things, so that we can generate money within our own country, within our own continent. And that's all I want to say. And thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much. On that note, fam, I say thank you all for coming to today's live stream. I appreciate all of your contributions, both on the panel and in the chat room. Amazing conversations. Next Sunday, we're going to have another very interesting conversation. I'm going to share details with you as usual. On Sunday, when I schedule it, you see the title, very interesting conversation. So let's keep it going. Thank you for the super chats that you've sent to me. Everybody that sent me a super chat, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. For the videos you've been watching, the comments you've been dropping for me and all of that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it as well. I'm going to see you guys in the course of the week. I have some videos I'm editing that I'll share with you in the course of the week. So keep your fingers crossed, watch, share, and do all the good things you guys always do on my channel. I appreciate you all so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, God's Clan wants to say something. So go on.
Guys, save money, start doing business in Africa. Because the Western system is a machine. You are just a part of the machine. When that part is no longer functioning, they remove it and they put a new part. You are a part of it if you work for the system in the Western world. Japan, US, Canada, Western Europe is the same. You are just part of the machine. I don't want to be a part of a machine, like how do you call it? Jamaican song is Jamaican radio song. He said, "I'm not in this world to be second or third or fourth. I want to be the first, number one." I think it was he was singing together with Bob Marley. I forgot his name. He said that I'm not in this world to be the part of a machine. I want to be the machine myself. That's what you have to be in your life, the machine. Be the machine. Then you can produce. If you are not the machine, you can't produce. That's what I want to say to all of you guys.
All right. Thank you so much. On that note, I would say take good care of yourself, fam. Stay healthy, be law abiding as usual. I'll see you the course of the week when I share videos with you. And if I have the need to do a live stream, like I always do, I'll let you know. But virtual grace, what is the solution for Afro Americans? Yes, I said that. So that's one of the solution. Like I said, or when you come, just make efforts to interact with the people and to ask questions so that you can understand the cultures better. Yeah. Or for those of you in America, you have Africans who have migrated to America. You can mingle with them, ask questions, and just seek to understand the culture better. And all. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you. I'll see you all.
Thank you.
Bye.